Hey, welcome. My name is Robert Brandon Sandor. I am the founder of Brandon's POZ Parties. I'm also the founder of Brandon's POZ Socials and also Boy Toys New York. And these were sex parties based on HIV status in the city of New York back in 1996, and also the Brandon's POZ Social, which was a social at the Stonewall Bar, which was held every month. These were revolutionary at the time because in the mid-1990s, there was nothing like it at all. This was groundbreaking, this was revolutionary, and this was community-driven. I'm not an HIV agency, organization, expert, or professional, or a researcher. I have no political backing, and I have no private sponsors. So I was doing this out of necessity, out of the need to fulfill personally and selfishly to fulfill my own needs, socially and sexually. I just wanted to find an HIV positive boyfriend. I'm HIV positive since 1983. I'm gay. I'm living in the city of New York. There was unlimited number of outlets that I could go to, except they were all clinical. There were all kinds of support groups for HIV positive gay men back then, back in the mid-1990s. But they were restrictive. They had to meet at certain hours of the day, on certain days of the week, at their location, and they had strict guidelines by the moderator of the support groups. What I did was I gave HIV prevention to the people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as long as you're comfortable about coming out about your HIV status, whether it was negative or positive. And that's where the foundation of the UB2 movement began. Back then, we didn't have the internet as you know it today, and we didn't have cell phones. We had pagers. This is my pager here that I used. As you can see here, it clipped onto the belt buckle, and this was the pager, and in here, the numbers would come up here. What was nice about these is that on one pager you could have multiple numbers. I had two numbers. Now I'll get into that later. So the number would come up here, and you would run like the wind to the nearest landline, pick up the phone, whether it was a cell phone or home, your home phone, and call the number and get the message, and then you'd meet up, you would hook up. But because of the internet was in its infancy back then. We had AOL, and we also had message boards. Back then, Yahoo groups, Yahoo clubs, and e-groups. Yahoo clubs bought out e-groups and became Yahoo groups. And this is the original message board that I had. And this went from the mid-1990s, and this is from 2004. So as long as you had somebody's email address and they had access to the internet and access to the message boards anywhere in the country, they could join a network. And that was the beginning of the social networks that you enjoy today. And that's where the HIV negative and HIV positive UB2 movements became so powerful, because now for the first time in the history of HIV, the community was in charge of the messaging. We were in charge of our behavior. Whatever our comfort zones were back at the time, if you were comfortable with your HIV positive status and you wanted to meet other people who are HIV positive, you could do that. If you're HIV negative and you wanted to meet other HIV negative people, why would you want to meet other people of your same status? Because it was a support network at a time when none of these existed. And we could meet other people socially and sexually to form relationships, get help, advice, share information. And it became so powerful back in the mid to late 1990s that it went global. And Lucille Scott, I have a link in the message box below. This is from 2007. This is POZ magazine. status seekers. On page 18 over here, Lucille Scott wrote status seekers. And she mentions right here, Robert Brandon Sandor had POZ Club New York, changed the name to Brandon's POZ Parties, and took it digital and went and used the internet message boards as a way to contact members around the country. Why did I mention that? Because this is Next Magazine from New York City from April of right there, 1999. And like I mentioned, we didn't have the internet like you know it today. We had to publish ads in publications, in print media, for our intentions, for our private parties. And this is the actual party as it was listed. And where is it? There it is. POZ Club New York. And up here is Boy Toys New York. Sorry about that. And it went from POZ Club New York, then it went into Brandon's POZ Parties. And this is from 1999. And this is the ad as it was published back in 1999. Right here, Brandon's POZ Parties. And that's Boy Toys New York. And this was the only way we can get our message out to the masses. So what happened was, in the city of New York, which was ground zero of this revolution, that the UB2 movement went viral. You could meet at the socials, you can meet at the sex parties, you exchanged telephone numbers, you exchanged your email addresses, you joined message boards, and everything was moving along because of our comfort level. Now, because some people who were not comfortable yet with their HIV status and coming out and going to a sex club, back in the year 2000, this is the actual ad as it was published at the Stonewall Bar for Brandon's POZ Socials, which were revolutionary because this took the HIV support network to the community in a setting that we were comfortable with, which was the bar setting. And all of this was like just exploding in real time for us. All these new ways for us to come out about our HIV status. We were becoming empowered. We were becoming comfortable with who we are, who we were at the time, who we are today. And this just, the internet elevated our comfort zone and what we were willing to do. There was no limit to the potential of what we can do as a community together, both positive and negative. And the researchers picked up on this. This is from Columbia University, and this is their research department for the HIV researchers. They contacted me, and they wanted me to come in for a talk. And if Anna is still there, give her a call. Tell her I said hello. And for 3.5 hours, I sat down with the research department at Columbia University, and we talked in great length on how the internet changed HIV prevention forever. And this is from 10/13/2004. Columbia University started doing research based on HIV status. And one thing led to another. The concept grew. HIV prevention changed. It took it from the HIV agencies and organizations, from the experts and professionals, brought it into the hands of the community. It was now community driven. And researchers from around the world were picking up on it. And this is from Christian Grove, back in 2005 when he was at Hunter College. Christian, as you can see here, provided me with safe sex packets for my parties. So now not only did we have our comfort zone expanded to whatever we were comfortable with socially or sexually, but also our behavior, our sexual behavior, whether we were going to be having safe sex or unsafe sex. And that's going to be a time for another video series on how the adult entertainment industry took something that was community driven in New York City and took it to a commercial level and turned it into a multi-billion-dollar for-profit enterprise. My name is Robert Brandon Sandor. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. If it's up, share it with anyone. Put comments in the comment box. What I'm going to do is somewhere up here, I'm going to put links to social networking, so this way you can have some guidelines onto taking the UB2 movement and status disclosure and put it online and take it to the next level. Also, there's going to be other information down here. Sharing is caring. If you like any of the videos, feel free to share them with others. Comments, I always welcome comments, whether it's hate mail or whether it's compliments or any ideas, and I greatly appreciate you taking the time out for this.